welcome to Art Town, Montana. Today I'm going to talk about how I built this little art shop here. My original intention was to compress all the action into 20 minutes. But it turns out there are so many steps to building this little thing that when I had all the footage smashed down to 20 minutes, I had an incoherent mess. And I know you're saying, is that really different than your usual stuff? Yeah. You know, a little bit. So anyway, I did what any good movie producer would do. And when I say good movie producer, I mean Ed Wood or someone far worse. I decided to make two movies. The first movie is about getting this garage into place and doing all the stonework. That's the thrill ride to which you are now strapped. The second movie is going to be about building everything from the stonework to the roof line and tying these two buildings together. Carving the corner posts is a separate episode entirely, with just too many thrilling twists and turns to include in this lusty drama that I've got in store for you today. So the story begins almost 2 decades ago. When I first got here, this old log building wasn't here, but it was over here, backed up against the mountain, where it experienced some pretty serious drainage issues. It was just going to rot away, and so I jacked it up and I put some log rails under it and then put it on log rollers, and I chained it up to my old truck and I started pulling. I'd pull 10 or 15 feet until the logs started to roll out of the back and the front of the building would start to teeter. And then I would pause, put the logs around to the front, and pull again. I just kept pulling until I was adjacent to where the building now sits. I jacked it up again, put rails in going the other direction with rollers going the other direction. And I got my old truck and I started to push. And I pushed it onto a new foundation that I built right here. So I started thinking about art shops many years ago. And at first I was obsessed with this 30-foot tall stone tower. But after my third back surgery, I decided that maybe less stonework rather than more would be in my future. So for a while, I thought, well, maybe you don't even need a shop at all. You just need this 14-foot long, motorized, articulated, 8-legged lizard that you could ride around on, and that would be pretty awesome. I even had a way for the legs to work. It'd be cool, but whenever I thought about making it outside in the elements, I kept going back to wanting a shop. So my mind drifted back towards building a shop. This time I decided, well, maybe I need the combination of stone and stucco and timbers because it provides a nice aesthetic appeal, but is not nearly as hard as building with stone all the way to the top. So this building here is a lot bigger than what I did build. It'd be a lot easier than a stone tower, but still 3 or 4 construction seasons, which is a long time to not do any artwork. And so, I would like to build this someday, but as long as I have a 40-hour job, I just don't have the time. So I came up with this compromise of size and effort, and I think it's pretty, and I think it'll serve me well. Okay, this is my art shop so far. It's the stonework on the left attached to my old log garage.
I built the doors recently on my log garage. I didn't do a great job, but you know, big gaps and a bit rustic, even brand new. I'm getting distracted, but I had to build the doors out because my truck was about 3 inches too long for me to shut the door. But by building it out, if I put my front bumper against the log on the far end, I can close these doors. But anyways, important thing is the stonework. That's what I'm talking about today. So I'm doing this kind of a classic deeply tucked mortar. I think it looks nice. I would like to point out, people always brag about the pyramids and how the stonework is so tight that even without mortar you cannot put a piece of paper between the stones. And I want to show you something. See, I'm obviously just as good. The paper doesn't go in there, and this one's not even mortared in place yet. You know, sure, that doesn't work. Everybody knows that, but how about that? So anyways, I guess I'm calling on that whole argument about stonework being good if you can't slide a piece of paper in there, because my stonework is not tight. We'll go on a little close-up tour of the rocks, because I just love stones. I love stonework. It's just my favorite. The stonework is going to be integral to a reinforced concrete wall, because I live in an earthquake zone and I'm super conservative in my building methods, and I overbuild the shit out of things. So on the inside, you'll see the inside of my art shop. I have drilled with a hammer drill and then driven rebar pieces into the stonework to tie it even more solidly into the concrete. Here you can see the footer goes down about 3 feet. It's about 2 feet wide at the bottom, a foot wide on the stem, and then I have this integral rebar here, and then of course horizontal underneath where you can't see is already got all kind of steel in it. You can see I labeled my rocks, which is not because I'm so anal that they have to go just that way, but I like to dry stack them first. And last autumn, winter was coming on and it was freezing every night and I could not mortar anymore, so I just did a lot. I got way ahead of myself. I stacked too far for me to remember how all the rocks went back together, so I had to label them. I'm going up to 3 feet. I'm just over 2 now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build some forms and put them on the inside and pour up to the top here, and then I will continue my stonework on up to the 3-foot level. I guess, is there anything else left? Probably not. Oh, I know, one little thing. So, you know, this is going to be an art shop where I carve wood, full-size sculptures of wood, so sawdust is going to be everywhere, and I don't want a real rough stone wall on the inside, even though it would be beautiful. So I'm mainly going with a flat concrete wall on the inside, except I'm going to have a few bits of stone that I'm going to put against the forms, just so that a little stone peeks out here and there to remind me that I'm in this cool stone building while I'm doing my artwork, and it will inspire me to do better artwork, I am sure. Oh yeah, this little bit here, this carved out business, this is me being an idiot and changing my mind on where the door goes, so I'm gonna have to pour some sort of thin set in there. We'll take care of that. It'll be great. Okay, I reviewed my first effort and it was terrible, but the worst thing is I screwed up my paper in the crack seam. So yeah, I'm gonna do it now again so I can prove that my stonework is as good as the Egyptians. Okay, I've proved my point. I've poured now, between my forms and my stonework. I had the driver bring me really low slump 6-sack mix. I didn't want to apply too much lateral force on my rocks with a real thin mix, and it's stronger. I also wanted a really rough surface to keep working on, you know, so I'm going to pour more concrete on top of this, and so I'll put on a bonding agent, and with as rough as that is, I think I'll get a pretty good bond. I'm continuing my stonework. It's been going for 2 seasons now. So I've dry stacked these rocks that are laying here now. We're dry stacked here to make sure everything fits. You can't hold things together with just mortar. It has to fit. So unfortunately, that means you have to put them up, take them down, and then butter their face. These are buttered, so they'll stick better. So anyway, this should fit, and here I've doweled as usual so that it's extra uber strong. Okay, and we'll take care of this disastrous flowing mortar later when it sets up a little bit. Right now it's pretty runny. You can't work it right now. You can just get it to be generally where it's supposed to be, and then I will take some of my cool mortaring tools and work this in about 2 hours. Okay, this is the last part. I want to make this mortar that my stones have just been set in look like this here. So I have 3 tools. I have a spoon and this very thin trowel and a medium trowel. So first I kind of tuck it in. This is really hard to do while filming it, so sorry. But you can see as you work it how it just smooths out. So I guess the only thing is you notice you kind of get mortar on things. You know, you can see it here, here. The thing to do is to take a wire brush to it, maybe 10 hours later when this sets up enough where you're not going to knock any rocks off or anything. You start wire brushing all these little places where you've got mortar on things. It looks a lot nicer. Okay, so I finished. I've worked the paste up so it's all smooth, pushed the mortar up into the crevices. Everything is neat now. So there we are. Stonework is finished. Time to rest for about a day or 2 and then start putting, well, okay. Actually, I've got to pour concrete in this last bit. I got to pour the last foot. So I'll have a reinforced concrete wall on the inside. There'll be these medallion stones that will show through. So yeah, here's a little glass of whiskey on the rocks. Makes me think I'm doing the right thing. It does look pretty nice. Anyway, but the inside, you know how I put those rocks in there. It wasn't the greatest look ever. But what I'm doing is I'm stuccoing it. I think it looks all right. It looks a lot better, actually. That's the stuccoed side. And here's the not stuccoed side. So, anyways, artistic. Ugly. So I've just mixed up my Type S mortar really super thin, like this. I'm using this thing here. And I'm just scooping up a little under here, like that. And I'm smearing it on. And it's tough to film yourself working. Anyway, just I kind of like the sloppy look. Not too sloppy. That looks like you're a slob. Little sloppy. That's artistry. Sorry.
Well, holy smokes, that was exciting, wasn't it? Are your hands tired from gripping onto the edge of your seat? You don't have to be embarrassed if they are. Man, I just hope the sequel is half this exciting. I guess we'll see. Well, anyway, the only thing left today for part one is I'm going to go dance around my art shop. I'm going to go do an ancient and traditional stonework dance to kind of appease the gods of good stonemasonry. I sure hope the neighbors are out. Maybe they'll join in and we'll all just kick up some snow. Why don't you join us? Okay, see you out there.